Yes, people, how's it going? Welcome to the Loaded Cannon. So the first thing I'm going to do is dedicate this video to the 23-year-old pregnant Palestinian woman who was shot in the head by Israeli forces. You know, just I just wish there was no more dedications left to do. I wish that the horror of this genocide stopped at one point, and the community, the global community, actually did something about it to put a stop to it. But I think we all know how it goes. Um, I'm fortunate enough to be on holiday at the moment, so I am in Turkey, soaking up some sun. And well, I say it's a holiday. I've got two young kids, so I'm just running around after them. But listen, it's good fun. I can't complain. I did stop and take some time out of the holiday to watch Arsenal play. And do you know what? I should have carried on watching El Clasico, because what a game that was. And I didn't enjoy the Arsenal game that much today until half time. Second half, it got a lot better. But the first half, my God, it was awful. It was a weird one, though. I was thinking before the game, like, Liverpool have got nothing to play for, so I wasn't expecting much from them. But from Arsenal's point of view, I was thinking, well, that that Champions League hangover, that could be quite telling. And I thought that, we might end up really struggling to have the desire to go and get something out of the game today. But it was a real game of two halves. I know it's a cliche, but it really was a game of two halves. Arsenal have more to play for than Liverpool, because we want to consolidate second place. But equally, you could argue that neither team has got much to play for, especially after somehow Man City somehow drew to Southampton. I mean, that was a crazy result. Never saw Southampton keeping a clean sheet against Man City. So it looks like, look, Arsenal are going to end up finishing second. We obviously don't want to slip down to third. That would be like a false representation of this season if somehow the league table made it look like we weren't the challengers. And it would be that old what happened to Tottenham finishing third in the two-horse race. We don't want all of that banter. Finishing second isn't what we wanted, but we certainly don't want to be a laughing stock at the end of the season. So glad that we managed to avoid defeat today. It was a really, really good response in the second half. And you know what? I don't know how much people think it matters how you end the season. Like, look, we haven't won a trophy again this year. That's 5 years running now. And that is a massive problem to me. That's not going to change whether we win the games that are remaining this season or not. But for me, it does sort of matter how you end this season. I don't want us to go out really, really poorly at the end of this season, because I don't know, I just worry that it will have an impact for the start of next year. I'd rather go out with all of the fan base and the players and the manager thinking we're not too far away, and there's something about this team. And so I think it's important that we end the season not on a negative note. I'm not saying it really matters if we win every single game 3-0, 4-5-0, but we have to at least go out with some pride. I don't want to see our team just give up. We've got Newcastle now coming up as well. And that is going to be a difficult game, because they are desperate to Champions League football. They beat Chelsea. They're in really, really good position. Had they lost against Chelsea, their heads might be dropped a little bit, but their tails are going to be up. And I really wouldn't be surprised if we don't manage to beat them, just like we didn't manage to beat Liverpool, because our season's over. Newcastle are fighting for that Champions League spot. Any team now that comes up against any of the teams, all the way from Man City to Forest, are going to be up against it, because there's so much to play for. It's actually a very interesting end to the season in terms of what's going to happen to all of those teams in that batch fighting for Champions League qualification. So we'll see what happens there. Now, one thing I want to talk about is success and failure. There's been a lot of chat about this, and you couldn't sort of write a more kind of like a polarized script to ask the question. You've got Arsenal in second place, have got to a Champions League semi-final against a team that, has got a very, very good chance of winning it. And, we've done all right this season. Obviously, haven't done enough, but we've done all right this season. And you contrast that to a team like Tottenham, who have been abysmal. I think I'm correct in saying they are the team just above the relegation spots right now. They're 17th. I mean, that is embarrassing even for Tottenham. And I know it's very, very hard for Tottenham to embarrass themselves. But they're in a Europa League final. And if they go on to win it, you have to ask the question, who's had a better season? They've achieved Champions League qualification. We've achieved Champions League qualification. They have been a laughing stock in the league. We have been much better in the league, much more consistent, still not good enough, but we're trophyless. And they will win a trophy as well. It's like, it boggles the mind. And look, first things first, like, let's just say this. And let me know in the comments your thoughts as well. Who do you want to win that nightmare final? It's awful. I cannot believe we're in a position where we have to watch a Tottenham United Europa League final. Like, if ever I wanted a no result, I want it to be this game. And I don't mean a shared trophy, I mean no winner. Like, I don't care what has to happen. Give me another pandemic. Cancel all football for the remainder of the season. I do not want to see that game. It's awful that these two absolutely crap teams can salvage their season by winning a trophy. But who would have had the better season? I'm struggling to answer it. I'm really struggling to answer it because I think to myself, like, if you're going to achieve the same thing, then I'd rather add an honour to our honours roll. Tottenham know nothing about that. Arsenal fans do. But please, in the comments, please talk some sense into me and tell me that, of course, we've had the better season and you'd rather have our season than Tottenham's season. Because, you know, otherwise it's a really, really tough pill to swallow. As much as I despise Man United, and I despise Man United, I want them to win this final because I just can't have Tottenham winning a trophy. But on the other hand, I feel like, you know, Man United getting back to the Champions League could actually be a much more meaningful thing to them than if it was Tottenham. If I could choose only one of these two teams to have a season in the Champions League, I'd say just give it to Tottenham. They've done it before. It makes no difference. No player wants to go to them. No serious player wants to go to them. They'll get a bit more money. Daniel Levy will keep it. It will make no difference. But for Man United, there's going to be a much bigger financial impact with all of their sponsors and stuff, and the expectation that that's where they should be. It really diminishes them as a club not being in that competition. In terms of attracting players, they actually have the profile of a club that can attract decent players, unlike Tottenham. So in a way, it's going to be better for Man United to get there, but I still want them to get there because I just can't have Tottenham winning a trophy. So anyway, I'm going to watch that final with my fingers crossed that Man United win it, which is going to make me feel filthy. I'm going to have to shower straight after it. As for Arsenal, this season, I don't know how to assess it right now. You tell me in the comments below, is it success or failure? All I know is that I genuinely believe we are better with Arteta than without him. If you cannot see the fact that Mikel Arteta is really knocking on the door and making progress, even though in the league we've been worse this season than last season, then I don't know what to tell you. I really feel like it will be a tough gig to change Mikel Arteta for many other managers and be better off as a result of that change. So that's how I see it. I still think I need to get out of this season before I can really assess it for what it is. But all I know is that a few years ago, we used to say one thing as Arsenal fans: at least challenge. We at least want to be there challenging for the biggest trophies. And that's what we're doing now. So that's where we are. Now we need to start asking to get to that next step. And a big answer to that question about getting to the next step will be what we do in the transfer window in summer. So fingers crossed, we do the business. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my holiday. I'll see you after Newcastle. Take care. See you next time.